Hi, I'm Kevin Clay. Today, working on a book by a guy named James Darnborough about basically, I think it was his great-grandfather, William Darnborough. So, it was an actual guy who was a baseball player here in America back in the early 1900s, back when you had all these small teams, you know, the Knittville Knits and the New Jersey Knickerbockers or whatever, but finds out that he has a real affinity for gambling, roulette in particular. And so he goes on to go to Europe and then to Monte Carlo, where he breaks the bank. Spoiler alert, but it's historical at Monte Carlo. But this is his story, fascinating. And here's a scene where he's just had a good night at Monte Carlo and meeting up with somebody on the balcony. So let's get to recording here. On the balcony outside the smoking room to the right of the Salon Rose, Bill stands overlooking the harbor and lights a cigar. It seems to Bill that everyone in France smokes, and he has taken to the occasional cigar as it makes him feel successful and confident. The rich tobacco aroma fills his nostrils, and he can relax for the first time today. He wishes Dave Rowe, Clark Griffith, and Art could see him now. He knows his mother would disapprove, but she would approve of the winnings. In the semi-darkness, another match strikes and briefly illuminates the face of a man who has appeared next to him. Bill is instantly on his guard, having won so much money, but does not show any sign of alarm. A minute passes before the stranger breaks the silence. "Do you know the fable of the Sisyphus?" he says. "Can't say I do," replies Bill, still looking straight ahead. "In Greek mythology, Sisyphus infuriated the gods by cheating death, and he was punished by having to push a rock up a hill for all eternity. The problem was, the rock would always come down, so he was destined to perpetual frustration. The point is that his own ego was his worst enemy, and that's what most people who have come here are up against." "What does this have to do with me?" says Bill. "Everything," replies the stranger. "Because you have shown everyone fortunate to witness your trials tonight that you will not let your ego get in the way. You never doubled your bets or wavered from your numbers when you made big coups. That is not something we see here often, and I wanted to show my appreciation." He turns and offers his hand, saying, "Pleased to make your acquaintance. My name is Charles Selby." Bill shakes his hand. "William Darnborough." "Interesting. Darnborough. That's an English name, but you have a distinctly American accent." "My great-grandfather George went over to New York from Yorkshire in the 1830s, says Bill. "Apparently there is a Darnborough Street in York, but I don't know if that's true. I hope to visit someday to find out." "Well, then, we're practically related," says Selby. "My family hails from Yorkshire, too." "Well, Mr. Selby," says Bill, "it is a pleasure to meet you, but if you will excuse me, it is time I turned in for the night. It's been a long day, but I'm sure our paths will cross again." "I'm sure they will. Good night." As Bill walks through the balcony doors, he turns to glance back. He questions whether this was purely a chance encounter or whether Selby has an agenda. Was this a chance encounter? Does Selby have an agenda? Or will he be a staunch ally? Find out in the exciting book, The Gambler's Game, by James Darnborough, available wherever fine books and audiobooks are sold.